Good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about monsoon, rains in Mumbai, and a lot of old buildings getting badly affected. And it is easy to understand this editorial. A lot of words, important words are there. That way, it is an important editorial. What are the words? Some of the words, melody, you have got for the first time, decrepit, again, you have got for the first time, spectacle, litany, an important word. Dwellings, we have got many a time. Exhortation, you have got recently. Conundrum, an important word. Deluge, you have got many a time. He is on and audible. Oh, thanks for that. Now, today you're going to work on, besides these words and some more words, you're going to work on spot the errors, correct spelling, exam pattern, sentence improvement, exam pattern, and idioms, again, exam pattern. As usual, you're going to work on editorial words and meanings. Now, let us go to the editorial, the broad outlook, and also it is like, what is there to learn from today's editorial? The broad framework. What is this editorial about? The basic question. It is about Mumbai urgently replacing decrepit buildings. As I said, this editorial is all about rains in Mumbai, heavy rains in Mumbai, and because of that, old buildings getting affected. And what is the immediate requirement? They have to be replaced. All these buildings, old buildings, decrepit means worn out, very old, dilapidated. There's another important word. They should be immediately replaced. This is the main theme of the editorial. What is a broad framework? It starts with the monsoon, how it has been characterized, monsoon and rains in Mumbai. Then it talks about the recent disaster. A multi storied building collapsed, killing 11 people. So it talks about that. And based on that, usually whenever there's a disaster in a particular place, obviously the opposition tries to criticize the ruling government. Then he talks about the litany of accusations. That's an important word. Litany, series of list of problems or series of something that is repeated. Then mayor's response based on the accusations. Then he talks about what exactly this city, Bombay, which is known as the economic capital of the country, what exactly does it need? Then based on that, it talks about, based on the context, the editorial talks about the identification of 21 structures, very old structures. And based on those structures, because they're very old and dilapidated, the authorities requested the residents to move out. And obviously, the residents, it talks about the response of the residents reluctant to move. And then it talks about the reasons why they refused to move from that particular place. And then the editorial says this is a conundrum, means a very complicated problem. Then generally it talks about coastal Maharashtra, how it experiences monsoon, what is the impact. And based on that, then it talks about the scientists of a particular organization, their proposal. And again, it reiterates the main idea. What is the main idea? Replacing the decrepit or dilapidated or old buildings immediately. Then it talks about Mumbai needs initially. Now it talks about what Mumbai desperately needs, badly needs immediately. Then it talks about Mithi River, and then it talks about the need for mass housing and the reiteration of the main idea. At the fag end of the editorial, it talks about the Malad disaster and how the political parties responded. It ends on that particular note. So, this is a broad framework of the editorial. And what is the significance of this editorial? Monsoon, important. Now we have been experiencing rather of late in different cities, urban floods. There's a term, now it has come into existence. What is that? Urban floods. Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, all these cities, they have been experiencing of late urban floods. So sometimes you may get a passage based on related to urban floods, quite often monsoon. And also here we talk about the infrastructure. One of the dimensions of infrastructure, housing problem in this context, Mumbai housing, mass housing requirement. And is it important? If you ask me the question, I will say yes, it is important from prelims point of view as well as mains point of view. You may get as a passage closest, or sometimes you may get as a parajumble. And this is an important one in the sense there are a lot of words you have to learn, not easy words, not familiar words. Give me a second. Fine. Now let us go to how does it start? The editorial. Monsoon melody. There's one important word, melody. Means what? A disease or ailment. Ailment also means a disease. And another meaning in this context. The first meaning doesn't go with this context. What is the other meaning of the word melody? A serious problem. What is a serious problem? Housing. Dilapidated houses or decrepit houses in Mumbai, it is a serious problem. Anytime they may collapse. Now, what is the main idea of the editorial? Mumbai must urgently replace decrepit buildings to prevent houses collapsing in rain. This is the main idea. Heavy rains and also monsoon, heavy rains. Based on that, any major city, Mumbai, in fact, Mumbai is known as the economic capital of the country, and Delhi is known as the political capital of the country. And the entire business you come across in Mumbai, business houses, industries, all these. So Mumbai must urgently, grammar point of view, the helping verb must. We have got many a time. It has got two functions. One, it means to express personal obligations. The other, it means to convey an idea of something like compulsory. Mumbai must urgently replace decrepit buildings, very old buildings, worn out buildings. Any moment they may collapse. Why should they do that? To prevent houses collapsing in rain. That results in loss of life, loss of property, which is not a good thing. Now, how does it start? It starts with the monsoon, rains. The monsoon over the greater Mumbai region has come to be characterized by the unsettling annual spectacle of collapsing buildings, and this year is proving to be no different. Now, what does it mean? Every year we experience monsoon. Every year we experience rains. This monsoon, these rains in Mumbai, now they have been characterized. They have been characterized, means there is a particular pattern. What is that characterization? They are known for, it is like an annual spectacle. There's one important word over here, spectacle. Spectacle means visually stunning. One of the meanings. Spectacles as a noun, spectacles, it should always be in the plural form. But here the word spectacle, a different word altogether. It means something that is visually impressive or visually stunning. So the what is the characterization of this Mumbai city based on rains, heavy rains, a spectacle, annual spectacle of collapsing buildings. And this year is no different. It talks about impact of rains, impact of monsoon, and characterization of Mumbai. What is it? It has become something like a ritual, annual spectacle, visually stunning. What is that annual spectacle? Buildings collapsing. Not all the buildings, old buildings, decrepit buildings, dilapidated buildings collapsing. And this year also, it is not an exception. Like every year, this year also, it is the same thing. Now let us go to, there's one word, decrepit, means what? Worn out or ruined because of age or neglect. And there's another word which goes with effective English, dilapidated. That is also an important word. And spectacle, visually striking, performance or display, one meaning. But visually stunning, something that impresses, then we say it was a spectacle. Then he talks about a disaster, a recent disaster. An unsafe multi-storied building in a core area of the city has collapsed out onto another. There's one important phrase here, collapsed onto another. Look at the preposition on, onto another. An unsafe multi-storied building in a core area. Not safe, unsafe, multi-storied building in a core area of the city has collapsed. This is in present perfect tense, has collapsed. Recent incident, we should use present perfect tense. On to another, leaving at least 11 people dead and exposing once again the decrepit base of dwellings in India's much romanticized economic powerhouse. Now, how he has described the writer, how has he described he or she, we are not quite sure. The city, much romanticized economic powerhouse. That's why I said Bombay is known as the economic capital of the country. Now, he talks about a recent incident where a building collapsed, 11 people died, and it exposed once again, exposed what? The decrepit base of dwellings means base of old buildings. Here, decrepit already have given the meaning. Dwellings we have got many a time. The places of residence, dwelling place of residence. In India's where? In India's much romanticized economic powerhouse. Bombay is known as economic powerhouse that disaster has brought. Now, usually what happens in a city, a major disaster, first the opposition reacts. It starts accusing the ruling government. Same thing over here. The disaster has brought in its wake the familiar litany of accusations of people occupying unsafe and illegal buildings, of people occupying accusation of people occupying unsafe and illegal buildings, and civic authorities failing to act in time. Two accusations here, regular accusations, litany of accusations. List Litany means a list of problems. In this context, list of accusations. One of them, it talks about people occupying unsafe and illegal buildings, something like encroachment. And the second dimension, civic authorities failing to act in time. There's one important phrase over here, in time. Sometimes students ask, sir, what is the difference between in time, on time? In time is before time, on time, exact time. Now, there are two words you have to focus on. One is a litany, a tedious recital or repetitive series. This goes with church, usually. It has a religious connotation, but in this context, list of problems. Again, to be very specific, a list of accusations and exhortation you have got recently, an address or communication emphatically urging someone to do something. You There's some sort of communication urging or asking someone to do something. We use the word exhortation. I'm sure you have got this word recently. And based on accusations, the mayor of Mumbai responded. Mumbai's mayor, Kishori Pednekar, has responded again in present perfect because there is no time aspect, has responded to criticism with a helpless exhortation to the city administration to remove dangerous structures. There was a disaster, there was an accusation. Based on that response from the mayor, and that response resulted in writing a letter or some sort of communication asking the authorities to remove dangerous structures, old buildings, because of the danger, obviously. Going beyond these predictable impulses. Now, when people criticize, there's a disaster, opposition criticizes. That is rather impulsive. There's one word, impulses. Impulse means what? A sudden, strong, and unreflective, without thinking, urge or desire to act. Generally, we say impulsive behavior. There's one typical collocation, impulsive behavior. He acted on impulses, means what? Without thinking, spontaneously. Then we use the word impulsive behavior. So, whenever there's a disaster, the opposition criticizes. That is like an impulse. The moment there's a disaster, they are ready to criticize. Going beyond these predictable, we can predict every year the same thing happens. Going beyond these predictable impulses, the overburdened city needs a time bound and accountable system of ensuring the safety of its housing stock. Now, forget about all these accusations, forget about all these impulses. The editorial says the city needs, overburdened city needs something. What does it need? A time bound and accountable system of ensuring the safety of its housing stock. Housing stock means infrastructure, buildings, all those things. Coinciding with this year's monsoon, excuse me, coinciding with this year's monsoon, the Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority identified 21 structures in Mumbai as being extremely dangerous. with an advisory to over 700 occupants to move to transit accommodation while reconstruction is undertaken. So, what does it talk about? Coinciding with this year's monsoon, at the time of the monsoon, the Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority, it has identified 21 structures in Mumbai as being extremely dangerous. The reason could be very old, decrepit, dilapidated, and based on that, with an advisory to over 700 occupants, perhaps they are over there, to move to transit accommodation while reconstruction is undertaken. Now, based on this, it talks about identification of 21 structures, very old buildings, and based on that, asking the residents who are there in those structures to move out safer place. Now, what is the response of the residents? Understandably, the occupants are reluctant. Reluctant means what? Not willing, unwilling. Since the alternative housing is far away from their education and work locations, their residents are not willing to move out. They are rather reluctant. What is the reason? Two reasons. One, the place they have to move to some place that is far away from their education, schools, colleges, whatever, and also work locations. And a big city like Mumbai, you're away from your workplace, you're away from the school or college. It is very difficult to reach in time and you have to face hell a lot of problems. Now this is a conundrum. That's an important word. What is it? Has come many a time in competitive exams. What does it mean exactly? A confusing and difficult problem or question. Generally I say conundrum, a very difficult problem to deal with or to handle. This is a conundrum that Maharashtra will have to address. Have to address. I have to do something. She has to do something. But here, will have to address. Will talks about future. Have to talks about an obligation imposed by an external authority or a situation. In this context, it is a situation. This is a conundrum, a major problem that Maharashtra will have to address, deal with, treating it as a crisis that will only be aggravated by changes to monsoon rainfall intensity over time. It has to address the problem, one thing, and the second dimension, why? Treating it as a crisis, they have to look at it as a crisis that will only be aggravated. There's again one important word you have got many a time, aggravate. Means what? Generally, we say don't aggravate the situation, don't make it worse. Already it is bad, don't make it worse. Because why it gets aggravated? By changes to monsoon rainfall intensity over time. Now it talks about, based on that, the coastal Maharashtra. It talks about that. Coastal Maharashtra sits in the pathway of extreme monsoon weather events, which are forecast to increase in frequency due to ongoing warming of the Arabian Sea. So, this is again something negative. Coastal Maharashtra, Bombay, it is there. Coastal Maharashtra sits in the pathway of extreme monsoon weather conditions or weather events. What is the reason for that? Which are forecast to increase in frequency, likely to increase in frequency. Why? Due to ongoing warming of the Arabian Sea. Again, we have to talk about climate change. Now it talks about the scientists. They have a proposal. Scientists, including those of the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, have proposed, it is in present perfect tense, in the context of the deluge a few years ago. There is one important word, deluge, means what? Floods, heavy water. Then we use deluge, floods, inundation. All the words are important, floods rather easy. In the context of the deluge a few years ago, that's an important phrase, a few years ago, that accurate monsoon forecasting over central India, incorporating changes to sea surface temperature, would help governments prepare better to save lives and agriculture. Now, they have proposed in the context of the deluge a few years ago. Means what? There was a deluge a few years ago. Based on that, they have the scientists of Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology have proposed that accurate monsoon forecasting over central India, incorporating, including changes to sea surface temperature, would help governments prepare better to save lives and agriculture and also property. For Mumbai, what does it mean to Mumbai? For Mumbai, what this means is to accelerate its repair and rehabilitation program for weak structures and replace those that cannot be salvaged. Reiteration of the same idea. They have to replace the old buildings and have to focus on rehabilitation programs. For Mumbai, what this means is to accelerate, speed up its repair and rehabilitation program for weak structures, old buildings, and replace those that cannot be salvaged. Replace those that cannot be salvaged. It is in passive voice. There's one important word, salvage. Usually it goes with ships. It means what? Saving or rescuing someone in danger or something in trouble. Salvage is an important word. The city, now it talks about the city needs something. Now another phrase, the city desperately needs, badly needs something. The city desperately needs channels for huge volumes of water to flow out. When the water doesn't flow out, what happens? It gets accumulated. That results in floods or inundation or deluge. The city desperately needs channels for huge volumes of water to flow out, and a plan to create new urban wetlands where feasible to store the precipitation. A plan to create new urban wetlands. Wetland, a place where water is stored and not too deep. And it talks about the feasibility. There's one important word here, feasible. Feasible means what? Possible. Feasible to store the precipitation means water. It talks about what Mumbai badly needs or desperately needs. One thing, it needs channels for water to flow out. Another, it needs wetlands to store the rainwater, precipitation. A rejuvenated Mithi River. Rejuvenated means what? To get new energy, having given new energy or vigor. Revitalized, another important word. A rejuvenated Mithi River, its planned cleanup has been delayed by the COVID-19 crisis. It talks about a particular river over there and the plan to clean up that river, but it has been delayed. Why? Because of COVID-19 crisis. This could offer some relief, but more water bodies are needed. That is one water body. It says this could provide some sort of relief, but we need more water bodies like that. And it will take a mass housing program to make life safer for the thousands in Howells. It reiteration. It will take mass housing program to make life safer for the thousands in Howells. Howells means a small hut, singular, a small hut, and small huts, plural. That's a new word altogether. Now he talks about a plan, a far-sighted plan to shift people from squalid buildings, squalid, very old, very dirty, a far-sighted, thinking of the future, a far-sighted plan to shift people from squalid buildings to modern ones is also a health imperative, means something important, something crucial. Such a start must be made with the most dangerous structures. So something has to be done immediately, and we have to start. It should be started with the most dangerous structures, means very old buildings. It is also unseemly. How does the editorial end? It ends on the political note. That's what I have said. It is also unseemly for political parties to use a disaster such as the one in Mallard as a cudgel against the government. There's one important word over here, cudgel, means what? A short, thick, heavy stick used to beat someone. But here it is like a weapon to criticize the government. It is not a good thing. It is also unseemly for political parties to use a disaster such as the one in Mallard as a cudgel against the government, considering that Mumbai's civic base lies neglected over the decades, regardless of who ruled. So, civic base in Mumbai has been neglected. It lies neglected. That is important from a grammar point of view. Here, lies means to be in a particular state for a long time, irrespective of the governments, irrespective of the fact who ruled Mumbai. So this is all about the editorial. Now let us go to how long has it taken? 24 minutes. Word of the day, deluge. Deluge could be a noun, could be a verb, meaning a very large amount of rain or water, usually rain. Example, the city was deluged when the river burst its banks. One example, we have been deluged with replies. Now, deluge has got another meaning, flood of something, flood of questions, flood of complaints, typical combinations. And word forms, because it's a verb, deluge, it's a regular verb, deluged, deluged, and deluging. Word combinations, deluge of, it takes a preposition. Unseemly means not expected, unseemly, not expected, not acceptable. Questions, deluge of questions, deluge of replies, deluge of complaints. And this is a formal word beyond any doubt. Now, what are the questions based on the editorial? Comprehension questions. What is this editorial about, as usual? And what has brought in the familiar litany of accusations? Keywords, familiar litany accusations. What does the overburdened city need? What does Bombay need? Why are the occupants reluctant to move to transit accommodation, temporary accommodation? They're not willing, they're rather reluctant. Why? Easy to answer. What does the city desperately need? See, one question, what does the overburdened city need? There's an answer over there. And here, desperately need, a different answer you have to write. We get deluge of knowledge from your sessions. Who is it? Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now let us go to the questions, practice questions based on exam topics. As usual, the first five questions go with error location. Read the first one. Yes, litany means a list of problems. She was shocked when she heard the news that he has died. Have a look at this and try to answer or spot the error. Mumbai flood and government actions. Response rather. Far from workplace and institutions. Workplace, educational institutions. That's right. Very good. Keywords, if you write, that's enough. You know the answer. Later, you can write complete sentences. Had died. That's right. Who is the first one to respond? Nagamaleshwari. After that, I see Manoj, Sandeep, all these students. Here, you cannot use has died. What is the reason? Whole context goes into the past. She was shocked, past. When she heard, past, the news that he has died. First, she heard the news, then she was shocked. First one, it should be in past perfect, second in past. Based on that, here, he has died is not correct. It should be he had died. Which tense is this? Past perfect tense. Why? First, he died. It should be in past perfect. Then she heard the news. Then she was shocked. So, after that, second past, first past perfect. Make a note what the question is about. Now, question number two. The behavior of young boys are the subject of comment the world over. He died. Huh? Why not? He passed away. Aryan. Yes, it is D-I-E-D, not D-I-D-E. He had died. He died is not correct. He had died. What is the reason? First action. Second action, past. First action, past perfect. Now try to locate or the error. Where is the error? The behavior of young boys are the subject of comment the world over. Why not shocked? You can use any word. Why not shocked? She shocked. No, no, she was shocked. It should be in passive voice, and she shocked means active voice. She shocked someone. She was shocked by something. You cannot use she shocked. Yes, a lot of students have got it right. Behavior is a subject, that is singular. Of young boys, that is a phrase, don't consider. Behavior singular, we cannot say are. We should say is. So, what is the correct sentence? The behavior of young boys is a subject. So, what is this question about? Subject verb agreement. Now, let us go to question number three. Please excuse me. This is an easy one, should not be that difficult. The lovers walked besides one another in silence. Behavior is a subject. It is singular. You have to use a singular verb. Now, what is the answer? Besides, there are two errors, in fact, not one error, two errors. I'm giving the clue. One you have got. What is the other error? That could be. There are two errors. One is it should be beside. What is the other error? No one has got the other one. No, no, beside is over. Each other. Who is this? Yashwant has got it right. One is beside, next to two. What is the other error? Each other. Lovers. We are talking about two of them. The lovers, specific, walked beside each other, not one another. Now you may ask, sir, what is the difference between each other and one another? These are pronouns. If you again ask me, sir, which type of pronoun? Reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns are two in number, each other, one another. What is the difference? We use each other for two persons or two things, one another more than two. So, what is the correct sentence? Beside each other, not besides. Don't consider. Beside each other. Yes. Reciprocal pronouns. What is this question about? All these I cannot answer now. We cannot go off that track. Inside into inside. Who is this? Madhavi. All of you, please remember, we are not getting enough time to explain what is here. We are not getting enough time. I cannot go off the track and answer new questions which don't go with the context. Now let us go with question number 4. The computers give us the easiest access to information. A short sentence. Mind you guys, all these are questions from previous year's papers. Don't feel bad about that. I cannot explain. See what happens here. There's so much. I can spend 2 hours, 3 hours on this editorial if provided I get enough time. But you don't have so much time. I don't have so much time. We have to do it in 60 minutes. Then we have to stick to what is being presented, and based on that, I talk. Very good. Who is this? Pawan Reddy, first one to get it right. Computers. No, there's an error. Computers. Here you cannot say. Now, already someone has got, then I'll give the answer. The computer is not correct. You may ask, what is the reason? Now, listen very carefully. There's an important rule. Here, computers give us noun related. What is a rule? When we talk about countable nouns, plural nouns. When we talk about plural nouns, generally, please listen. When we talk about plural nouns, generally, we should not use any article. But we talk about plural nouns specific, we can use the article. Example, children are usually curious. Children are usually inquisitive. Here I'm talking about general statement about children. Child singular, children plural. I should not say the children. The children not correct because it's a general statement. Look at the other example. Why are the children crying? Why are the children crying? Here I'm very specific, so the can be used. But general statement, you cannot. One more example. Gold is always expensive. I will tell you later. GB, please wait. Uh, Gold is always expensive. A general statement. I cannot say the gold is always expensive. Wrong. Gold is always expensive. Another example. Where is the gold that we bought yesterday? The gold. Specific. This is an important question. Only a few. I think one student got it right. The means particular. Yes. The children of some place are very naughty. Yes, that is right. Specific, the children. General, children are inquisitive. Inquisitive means curious. Let us go to sentence number 5. Kindness is a good quality. The kindness of old lady impressed us. Oh, who is this Yakub? Same examples you have been using. So already imprinted. They are here. That's a good thing. Based on that, you can spot the error just like that. Nowadays, I don't see your name. You're not responding, or I'm missing your name. I'm not quite sure. Anyhow, who is this again? Sandeep, very good. I appreciate. The first one to respond and says no error. After that, I see Rajesh, no error. Manoj, no error. Wonderful. Answer, no error. I sprained my ankle while I was playing basketball. No error. What is this pattern? I sprained my ankle. Past tense. While I was playing basketball. Past continuous. When I teach past continuous, I teach uses. I teach three uses. What is the first use? We use it to express an action that was going on when something else happened in the past. Here, something happened. What happened in the past? I sprained my ankle. That time, something was going on. What was going on? I was playing basketball. Another example, the power went off while I was having my dinner. The power went off. Something happened in the past. What happened? The power went off. That time something was going on. What was going on? I was having my dinner. You can also say, I was having my dinner when the power went off. Either way, it is correct. Sprain means if you take your ankle or your foot, sometimes what happens, the muscles, they get affected and you have severe pain, and it is something like pain in the muscle. We use the word sprain. Ankle, usually it goes with ankle. Now, five questions over. This is a new one. For the first time, I have brought this pattern. Select the word with the correct spelling. You see four words. First, you try to get the answer, then I will tell the meaning of each one. Manoj has responded. Correct spelling. Look at the question, instruction, correct spelling. Fascination. That is the answer. What is the answer? Fascination. And what is wrong with other words? Competition. Competition. And assimilation. SSIMI. And vindication. TION. What is it? What does it mean? Competition, you all know. You're all competitors. And fascination, to get fascinated, to get attracted. Fascination means attraction. He got fascinated to something. Something is okay at this stage, someone is a problem, not advisable. So fascination, attraction. Vindication, something that proves you're right, or something that proves something is correct or just. Vindication, vindicate, prove something correct. Or today error questions easy, so for a change we can't take it that way. Easy questions. Now let us go to question number 2. Choose a word with the correct spelling. Yes, that's right. Who is this Naresh? Assimilation, vindication, competition. Have shown that. Revenge. No, no, not revenge. It is not revenge. Vindication, justification. Vindicate, prove something is correct, right, or just. Thank you very much. Who is this Naresh? Now, which word is correct? No one has responded. Oh, a tough question. Eminent. No, eminent is not correct. That spelling is wrong. 2, 4. Who is this? Adi says, Yakub says, and Bhavani says, Nagu Sheikh also. A lot of students. Very good. That is right. Eminent, single M. Eminent person means successful, outstanding, and known to many people, highly talented, eminent scientist. Usually, in many competitive exams, they have given questions based on confusing words. Eminent, imminent, both are different. Eminent goes with persons, eminent scientist, eminent doctor, and imminent goes with situations. Something is imminent, likely to happen. The strike is imminent. And nuisance, SANCE, magnificent, not SENT, CENT. Magnificent means something outstanding, beautiful, impressive. So, what is the answer? Niggard. Niggard means a person is rich, but he doesn't want to spend a lot of money. Miser, MISER, miser. A person who is not willing to spend a lot of money, though he or she is rich. Yes. Question number three, based on correct spelling: mammoths, nicotine, rickshaw, platypus. Eminent means outstanding. That's right, Nagamani. Eminent scientist, a typical combination. Niggard means miser. Yes, who is this? Pranitha. Absolutely right. Now, what is the answer for who is this? Chinni? Oh, no problem, Chinni. There's a popular saying. What is that? Better late than never. Oh, that's good. Rishita has got it right. After that, Nagamani, Sandeep, Manoj, a lot of students, Prithvi Raja. I can't read out all the names. Tirupati Rao. Here, mammoth. It should be double M. Mammoth, huge animal. Mammoth, woolly mammoth. It became extinct. It was there in the past. Woolly mammoth looks like an elephant with huge tusks and a lot of fur on the body. Nicotine, Nicotine. Platypus is one type of animal, duck-bill platypus. To make it complete, duck-bill platypus. You come across that in Australia. Actual habitat, Australia, duck-bill platypus. It's a mammal. So answer is rickshaw. Now you may ask, sir, is it an English word? No one has asked that question. I was expecting a question from you. We all say rickshaw. Then you should have asked me, sir, is it an English word? Yes, it is an English word. Today, the Oxford University Press, it has published a separate booklet, Words of Indian Origin in English. Words of Indian Origin. About 2,000 words have become part of standard English language. Words like rickshaw and rowdy. If you take rangoli, idli, dosa, all these are English words but Indian origin. Now, please go to question number four. Yes, what is the answer? Plagiarist. How do you pronounce that? Plagiarist. Answer is the second option. Very good. Who says that? A lot of students. What does it mean? It goes with literary works. It may go with other areas, but usually it goes with literary works. If someone takes the work, the writing of a particular writer or author, and copies that, uses that in his book or some writing, that is known as plagiarism. Plagiarism means copying the text of someone's, it could be a writer. You take that writer's work and you use in your this thing, your book. That is known as plagiarism. Ghee. Okay. Indian origin. I'm not quite sure about that. Who is this Naresh? Ghee, is it English origin or Indian origin? I'm not quite sure about that. Let us go to question number five. It could be Indian origin. In my opinion, it could be Indian origin. Now, question number five, let us do quickly. It's already 7:44. Who steals ideas of someone? You can say that also. That's what I said. It goes with many areas, but generally it goes with the literary works, copying. You copy the literary work of someone, then it is known as plagiarism. That I mentioned. Actually, it goes with literary works, copycat. Again, literary works. Select the word with the correct spelling. Again, what is the answer? Fifth one, reverberation. Answer is you have to mention the option number. Fourth option, that's right, Uday Kumar. Fourth option, reverberation means echo. That's one meaning. Something that gets repeated. Reverberation, resound, echo. All these words can be thought of. Now, let us go to sentence improvement. There are five questions. Sentence improvement. Read the first one. Neither Ted nor Johan are going. Yes, question number four, question number five, fourth option is the answer. Now please go to sentence improvement, new set. Question number one, what is the answer? Resonance, yes, that's right. A resonance, echo, reverberation, all these words can be thought of. Is going, first one, Nagamaleshwari, Nagamani after that, Rajesh, Manoj, all these students. Now, neither Ted nor Johan are going is not correct. Here, we have joined or combined, we have used a conjunction, and the subjects are in singular. When the subjects, nouns are in singular, we have to use a singular verb. Based on that, neither Ted nor Johan is going. What is the answer? Third option is going. Very good. A lot of students have got it right. Now let us go to question number two. The place at which the two roads meet, you will find a small log cabin, a small cabin. No, only neither, either, each distributive pronoun. Yes, Jakub, you're right. But either, or, neither, nor, or, all these are conjunctions. And there are three rules. I cannot tell all the rules over here. And specific rule based on the example, subjects are in singular. We have to use a singular verb. Now, where is the error? Question number two. Third option. The place at which the two roads meet, that is not correct. The place where the two roads meet, at the place where, that is not correct. The place where the two roads meet. Someone has said third option, absolutely right. The place where the two roads meet, that is the answer. Migrant workers can be seen working on many of the building places in New Delhi. This is also an easy one, not that difficult. Where the two roads meet. Yes, of course. That is correct. A lot of students have got it right. Please go to question number three, sentence improvement. Mention the question number and the option because we have one, two, three, four. Sites is not building sites, not exactly. Building sites is not correct. Premises, that is right. Current affairs buddy. So what is the answer? Second option, building premises, the area surrounding the building. What is the right word over here? Premises. Now let us go to sentence improvement. Question number four, a lengthy one. Read carefully. Just before he died, Amar, who is a poet, who was a poet, it should have been, even that I should have given in red color, wrote this poem. Who is a poet? All this is in red. Wrote this poem. What is the answer? Question number four. Yes, question number three over. Second option. Now go to question number four. Tell me where the error is. PJ. It looks like that. That's why I said a lengthy sentence. You got to read very carefully. Yes, sight, three words, confusing words. Who is this? Dasari. Same pronunciation, SITE is different. SIGHT goes with this, and site, CIT means coat. Building, site. SIGHT, site. Good site, bad site. Answer, fourth one. Just before he died, no one has got it right. Let me check. It should have been Amar wrote this poem, who is a poet, not correct. Just before he died, Amar, who was a poet, wrote this poem. Actually, just before he died, Amar, who was a poet, wrote this poem. Here, I should have corrected it. My mistake. Please excuse me. The fourth option I have given as fourth option here. Uh, I was in a hurry. I thought of writing had written. What is it? Had written. Why? Before he died, first action he wrote. That should be in past perfect. And second action he died. That should be in past. So, what is the correct sentence? No one has said, Sir, we don't see the correct option. That's what I said. Second and fourth, I forgot to correct the fourth one. I wanted to give just before he died, nothing wrong with that. Amar, who was a poet, we cannot say who is a poet, nothing wrong with that. He wrote, that should be in past perfect. Had written this poem, had written this poem. For the first time, not always hurry burry, this has happened for the first time. I've been doing for so many months. For the first time, something like this. So this is an important one. Tell me what is the right one, whether the given one is right or wrong. Question number 5. This has been given in many exams, not in the same form, but idea is very important. Many students don't get this right. If you get it right, you should be happy. Past perfect tense. Yes, Yakub, you're right. But no one has said, sir, the options, we don't see the correct option. That is a bit strange. First, question number 5, first option is not correct. Given option is not correct. Who says second option? Ravi Teja and Rishita, Prithvi Raja, so many students. After that, that is absolutely right. Here, many students wonder when I say second option is the answer. If I had had the money, I would have bought the house. Why is it correct? This is a past conditional. The main clause we use would have plus verb past participle. If clause we should use past perfect tense. Now listen very carefully. I'm going to make 4 sentences. I want you guys to listen very carefully. I have money, present tense. I had money yesterday, past tense. I have had money, no time, present perfect. I had money before I came here. This is past perfect. In past perfect, we should use one had, that goes with the sentence pattern, the other had as a main verb, past participle form. Sentence is absolutely right. Don't think had not correct. Depends on the context. What is the answer? Second option. If I had the money, I would have bought the house. Now, idioms. Please go to idioms and try to answer. After the public meeting, the crowd went haywire. This is an important one. After the public meeting, the crowd went haywire. So, what does it mean? Were in jubilation. Jubilation means celebration. Very happy. Protested. Became out of control. Left the venue. If I were money, no, no, no. That we don't say. If plus had plus verb, past participle form. Yes, Suri. Remember as past participle form. Became out of control. That's right. What is the answer? Third option is the answer. Became out of control. They went in different directions. They got scattered. After the public meeting, the crowd went haywire in different directions, got scattered, became out of control. Third option is the answer. Through reporters' effort, many unknown facts have come to light. Come to light. What does it mean? Something has come to light, ignited, flared up. Flare up goes with anger. Someone becomes very angry, then we say he got flared up based on someone's comment. Brightened, easy to understand. Been revealed. Reveal means what? To make something public or to disclose. Leave the venue is not, it is something natural. But haywire means something different, negative connotation. It has a negative connotation. That's why the answer out of control. When people get scattered and they go in different directions, chaotic situation, then we use haywire, means out of control. Simply leaving the venue, you cannot use haywire. Revealed, yes, what is the answer here? Come to light means to become public. Being revealed. Reveal means to make public or to disclose. Answer is the fourth option. Many students have got it right. Now let us go to question number 3. It's already 7:55. We are running out of time. We still have the last exercise. The students were all ears when the speaker started talking about the changes in the exam. Spill the beans, but spill the beans has got a different connotation. Let cat out of the bag. All these mean they go with the secret. Yes, very good, but not exactly the same thing. You have recollected, I appreciate Nagamaleshwari. Spill the beans, let the cat out of the bag. They talk about revealing a secret. Now, what is the answer? Attentive. Answer is the fourth option. Now, let us go to question number 4, an easy one. It was her maiden speech on the stage and she performed well. Attentive, that's right. All ears means very attentive. Easy to make out. Now, what is maiden speech? Those who follow cricket commentary, they know one expression, maiden century. Like that, maiden speech, maiden song. Easy to guess. Fourth one, fourth. Who is this? Yes, Sheikh. You're right. It is the fourth option, first speech. Maiden means first. Maiden century, the first century. Maiden presentation, the first presentation. Maiden speech, the first speech. Question number 5, the last one, idioms related. I'm interested to know the outcome of the debate. Kindly keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. So, what does it mean? This has been given many a time. Debut, yes, in a way, but first, remember, first speech. Yes, that's right. Now let us go to the last question based on idioms. Fourth option, inform regularly. Keep me in the loop. To be informed regularly. Absolutely right. I see a lot of students, Sandeep and some more. Ravi Teja, Sanjaya, all these. Yes. Answer is a fourth option. Keep me in the loop means to be informed regularly. Now let us go to the last exercise. We have 2 minutes. Let us finish off before 8. At least one student responds, then I will write the answer. What does it mean? Melody. Melody means what? It is a noun. So write the part of speech first. Noun. What does it mean? Have a look at the words and the meanings, words from the editorial, and try to respond quickly. No one has responded. One H, what is it? H, serious problem. Yes, decrepit, dilapidated. It goes with buildings. Do remember the combination? Structures, buildings. Could be monuments as well. So it is an adjective, obviously. What does it mean? Worn out. Answer is E. Spectacle. Spectacle's different. Spectacle different. Here it was a spectacle. Means what? Noun. What does it mean? Visually stunning. I is the answer. Litany, an important word. List. List means noun. Litany also means noun. Part of speech, noun. What does it mean? List of problems or repetitive list. Remember, list of problems? Something that is repeated, repetitive. And it has religious connotation as well. G is the answer. Dwellings, places of residence. We have got many a time. Dwelling, singular, dwellings, noun, and it has become outdated in the western part of the world. Here, people still use dwellings. Exhortation, noun you have got recently. Communication, urging people to do something, asking people to do something. Answer is B. Conundrum, an important word. It's a noun. Problem means what? Noun. So, a difficult, complicated problem. Answer is D. And deluge, again, noun or a verb. It could be a noun, it could be a verb. Means what? Floods. J is the answer. And salvage, a regular verb. Salvage means saving or rescuing. Usually it goes with ships. Do remember that. And answer is A. What is the last one? Hovels, part of speech, noun, a small hut, plural, small huts. That's all about editorial words and meanings, and that's it for today. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. I will see you on Monday with another editorial. I will try to make some changes, make it better, and do remember to subscribe and share. And also, there's one Telegram group. Try to join. All that you have to do, click on that. It is not interactive. I can post, you cannot interact. And also, after the session, I'll